Hello everyone, my name is James Suhan. I'm a graduate support engineer here at E1 Solutions. And in this video, I'm just going to do a quick rundown of where to find that information that you would need in the setup of a connector with Business Central and Popdock. So I'll start off here. As you can see right here, I have my Business Central open in my sandbox environment, as that's just kind of what I'm going to be rolling with here. And here I am inside of Popdock. So starting off, I'm just going to kind of show you each spot. So I'm just going to go open up my Business Central connector. And again, that information is here under Edit Settings, which these are the same things that will prompt right as well once you are creating the connector as well under the Add Connector menu. So starting off, with connection type, it's pretty straightforward. 99% of the time it's going to be login online. That's going to kind of be the case. So I'm not going to focus too much more on that. Next step is the tenant ID. This is one of the pieces right here. Now we do have articles on this as well. They are listed in our knowledge base under our Business Central tab. But to find that here inside of Business Central, you will want to click on this question mark up in the corner. Then you will want to go down here to help and support. Now on this page, you can see there's a couple different things here. This also has one of the best features for finding anything in Business Central, which is the inspect pages of data, which I'm not going to cover in this video, but it's helpful later on for other matters with the query builder and whatnot. But right down here, you can see report a problem, and here we have all of this information as well. So as you can see right here, we have the Microsoft Entra tenant ID. That is what we are looking for, which is going to be this right here, this B495. This whole section right here is what goes into this spot here for the tenant ID. Basically, the tenant ID gives Popdock an idea of, okay, here's where we're starting to look. Or here is what we are looking at. This is what we're going to be working with here. Now, this tenant ID can also be found up here in the browser URL as well. Now that we have that, our next section is the environment. As you can see, sandbox new. That is going to be in this upper corner right here as well. But again, you can find it on this page too. And what you'll want to see is right here, you can see right next to the tenant ID is environment. Now, in this case, the name of the environment is sandbox new. And right here in parentheses, it also tells us what type of environment this is. So in this instance, this is a sandbox, so it's sandbox new, and the environment is a sandbox. So we would take that sandbox new name or whatever yours happens to be, and it would go right here in the environment. Which at the same time, when you find that, you can also find what to do with this section right here. That is sandbox. So if you are looking here inside of Business Central, you see this says sandbox. You'll set this drop down to true, as this is a sandbox. Now, if it's a production environment, you will put false, which that primarily dictates in the connector query builder what you can do, as you cannot publish query builder lists directly to production. That can only be done to a sandbox first, then move from sandbox to production, but I'm not going to get too much further into that. Now, this last piece right here, this published company, this is a very common thing we see coming through with tickets is people will try to add dimensions, create a query builder list, whatever the case may be, and nothing shows up. So this is a very common piece that gets missed quite a lot, and it's understandable as to why it is. So with that, we have all this information. Now, if I just go back to our homepage right here, as you can see, Cronus USA, that's what it says. Pretty much a straight up match for this. Now, in some cases, that is the case, but this right here is the display name. This is not the database name. This is the display name. And what I mean by that is if I go over here to our universal search, pull up our companies list, as you can see in this instance, there is no display name. There's only the database name. Hence, it shows the database name by default. This is what you would want to put inside of this section here in Popdock. Now, if I were to go through and change the display name to This is a display name. As we can see, now this has changed. So you can see where people will see this, be like, oh, yep, that's my company name. They would then go and throw that in here, which is incorrect. It's just a display. It's just for what you see. It is no tie to the actual database. So Popdock will go through with this authentication. It'll still connect. It'll be like, okay, there's the tenant ID. I know where to look. The environment, what room are we looking for in this section? And then the published company, what information are we pulling specifically? What are we directly working with? Now, if you have the display name in there, we don't get that crucial information. So we still get the base level stuff from the environment. But if you go to add dimensions, go to create a query builder list, anything like that, your list will, your drop downs will show up blank. Your list will be empty. You won't be able to do anything with that. So it's very key within this company's list to make sure you are utilizing this database name here on the left instead of this display name. And then once you have all that information, you would go through, connect it up, go through the Microsoft login process that you are prompted with, and then you're good to go. Which this also is applicable as anytime you, let's say you ditch a sandbox, create a new one, you want to use that one to copy your most recent build of production. You then just go in here, change it, but I'm not going to go much further into that in this video.